What work secret did you accidentally find out that changed everything? I accepted a job offer as a director in the corporate office of a small newspaper group. It's a dream job. We have dozens of small newspapers throughout the state, and I had intentions of visiting each one. I traveled 3 hours to one of our hubs, which is responsible for 4 publications. Coming from corporate carries some weight and affords me a level of hospitality that makes my job easier. And this particular job was to evaluate workflow and production methods that could be used to upgrade their equipment, which in a location like this was sorely needed. So I assumed they realized that I was there bearing the promise of gifts. Instead, I was greeted with an icy stare by the receptionist, who merely said, "I'll go get her." The publisher was a different story. She greeted me with a huge smile and offered coffee and soda in her office. We talked about my mission, and she was very excited, so I told her I would interview the staff if they were available, and she said they were at my disposal. The first person I sat with afterwards was the editor. She was curt and short with her answers. Getting information was like pulling teeth. Her words were measured, and she volunteered nothing that was not asked. I received the same treatment from everyone else in the office, and I eventually left there with little more information than what I arrived with. I was, in a word, frustrated. When I returned to my office, my COO said, "Fun place, huh?" I told him it was quite depressing. He told me the publisher was a very difficult person to work for. That's not the impression I got from her, but it was my first time that I had met her. I came up with a proposal, but I had to return to the unit to verify some parts of the project. It was the same depressing atmosphere, and even when I oversaw the installation of parts, this feeling of malaise was almost overwhelming. But throughout it all, the publisher maintained her happy attitude, and she became the bright light on my visits. A neighboring hub had lost their manager, so she had been put in charge of both. I had been to that hub before and found them to be amiable and engaging. That ended when the publisher took over. Soon, ad sales were dropping and we were losing major accounts. Then it was discovered that the publisher was the cause, by trying to rewrite contracts in favor of the newspaper to the detriment of the advertiser. It had to be a win-win for both of us. But she was headstrong. I was actually at Disney World with my children when I got the call from the COO that the publisher had been fired. He wanted me to block her digital access from email and computers. Fortunately, I was able to do that by phone. He said the minute I returned, I was to go to the old hub and secure everything. The last thing I expected was a ding-dong the witch is dead scene. It was as if color was reintroduced to the office. People had smiles. They greeted me and talked openly about their jobs and responsibilities. I got more information out of that 2-hour visit than I had the entire 2 years before. When I met with the COO, I learned that the publisher would warn the office. Whenever anyone from corporate would come to visit, she told them that they were coming for one reason: to decrease the workforce. Someone was going to get fired, and after we'd leave, she would tell them. I had to do a lot of talking, but they agreed to leave things be for now. She was not a manager. She had never had any experience managing people or workflow. She was a former receptionist that found favor with a former VP, and she was named publisher. Both hubs flourished after her departure, but sadly not enough to pull the newspaper out of its nosedive. It failed a few years later.